You could have made nice with me.
All right, so let's talk about Longlegs and some new updates, of course, to the website. We've already discussed those updates. So the other videos, I'm just pretty much talking about the website and giving you my quick little 2 cents on it. This video, we're going to start deciphering. Now, we're not going to solve everything in one video because there's a ton to really go over. And a lot of this has taken, like, we are almost at the verge that we are about to open up a course about this. But before we get any further into the whole codes and everything we know so far about Longlegs and what exactly is their end goal, that's what we want to talk about here. What is Longlegs trying to achieve? We won't be able to decipher everything just yet because there's like some lapse in the ciphers. It looks like Longlegs made a cipher at the beginning when they were doing all of this, and then when they took that break and then they went back to do these crimes, they made a new one, it seems. But we'll talk about that towards the end. Before we get any further into the Longlegs and what exactly could be going on in this film, I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Trying to reach 31,000 subscribers tonight. Our big goal for the month of July is 35,000. So we got a couple of days to do that. So I'm very excited for us to cross that threshold and really appreciate everybody who's been tuning in to the Longlegs video. We're doing these just for fun. I by no means am saying I'm the one solving this or that I'm right. It's just good time before the movie comes out next week and we all can anticipate and enjoy the movie once it comes out. But let's get right into Longlegs and what exactly is happening here. So I want to say that I did not solve this all by myself. There's some things that I did take notes on and I'll show y'all right now. These are my notes I've been taking from the trailers and stuff like that. You know, the trailers, sometimes they showed like coming soon or Longlegs. At first it would be like written in the codes, the Zodiac style codes that Longlegs uses, and then they would translate those letters. So I went ahead and like wrote some of them that I could, but some of the other ones that I couldn't get, I've had some help by going through Reddit. r/horror is a big one where I saw some. And there's also a subreddit for the birthday murders themselves, r/thebirthdayMurders. So I'm definitely giving a lot of credit over there because a lot of that has helped me make the code and be able to look at it myself. And with new eyes, especially some of the ones from months ago when I didn't have any clue what was going on in those trailers and teasers, I've been able to see a different light now. But let's get right into everything we know so far. So this is going to be the part 1. This is what we know as a fact for sure. We do know that there is a killer out there called Longlegs who is played by Nicolas Cage. Now we do know now, after the Birthday Murders website has updated for the past couple of weeks, that this person has been committing these crimes, but they really haven't had a hand in them. They've been making the father of their families commit the crimes. And that's why they were so elusive for so many years, because everybody just said, oh, it was the father that did it, and then they did it to themselves. There's nothing else here, no third party. It started to get strange when they were finding these notes and these codes and then these satanic images throughout the crime scenes. And a lot of times, a lot of the people in the community just didn't have a clue that this would ever happen with the families it happened with. And so we know about some of the families here. So I wrote them down here. We know about the Applewhite family. We know about the Clover family. We know about the Pendergast family. We know about Wormwood family. We know about the Hesse family. We know about the Angstrom family. And so we see that all of these cases here all dealt with young girls as well. And the prime number we would see a lot is the number 9. Now, that was one of the first things that got me thinking about where have we seen that number before? And of course, if you've seen the trailer or any of the imagery for Longlegs, Lee Harker, who is played by Michael Monroe, who is the lead investigator in the film, is reading a book called The 9 Circles of Hell, which is based on Dante's Inferno. Now, that is based on 9 circles of hell, which are limbo, lust, gluttony, greed, anger, heresy, violence, fraud, and treachery. I got my notes here. I'm reading my notes, y'all, just so you know. And so I got to thinking, what do all of these things have to do with all of these crimes that are being committed, right? These 9 circles of hell, they're very important, I feel. So we'll get to that in a bit. Let's just get through everything we know so far. So like I said, there has been a cipher that has been used by Longlegs to leave notes for the police and stuff like that. Now, I think that there is a cipher pre the break that Longlegs used, and there is one that is used after the break that is specifically for Harker, because Harker has a special connection to Longlegs. We've talked about this before when we've done the trailer breakdowns and all of that Lee Harker is special to Longlegs. He's specifically talking to her when he's saying that she has a darkness in her. And we see it throughout the trailer as well when the character of Blair Underwood, who is playing a agent, says to Harker that what is going on here? Like, there's something more to it. And one of the things that I think we have to realize is that Lee Harker could have been a victim of Longlegs as well. Now, we do know that Kiernan Shipka is playing a character with the surname Camera, who apparently was the only only survivor of Longlegs' rampage. But we might have another story where Harker was also a survivor of Longlegs, but doesn't really want to talk about that, or came pretty close to Longlegs as well, because there is a actress in the film that is playing a young Lee Harker, and I believe it's the girl that we see out in the snow with the White House, which Longlegs talks about the White House a lot. So I believe that he saw something special in Harker and really wanted to get closer to her. But of course, I think that something happened, or his rituals he was trying to do weren't going as planned, so he had to take a break of sorts. And we'll get to that in a bit as well, the rituals and what they could be. So one of the things as well is that the 9th birthday is very important to Longlegs for some reason, and I believe that he was getting close to Harker on their 9th birthday, and that's when everything kind of fell apart for him and what he was trying to accomplish in the end. So some of the things that I've been able to uncover from some of the interviews that Mr. Osgood Perkins, who's the director-writer of this, has done, as well as some interviews with Nicolas Cage, and also some of the stuff that I found on r/horror and r/the birthday murders, is that a lot of the ciphers, a lot of the codings and stuff like that, the Hydra line as well, all come from T-Rex, which is a band, and some of the songs that are being used. And apparently, I found this on SoundSphere that one of the songs from T-Rex is actually used in the film itself as the end credits song. And so that kind of goes hand in hand with the look that we apparently have for Longlegs, Nicolas Cage's character, of being in this sort of glam rock era feel. And also, they do have a vinyl of Lou Reed Transformer, which is another sort of artist at the time in that rock era as well. And people were making the connections that this sort of has to do as well with amphetamines, which we will talk about in a bit, but I'm just telling you everything we know so far. So in one of the older videos we've done about Longlegs a couple of months ago as well, when we first heard about the film and saw the teaser and stuff like that, we were able to find an interview where Nicolas Cage talked a little bit about the character itself, calling it an evil Geppetto that was inspired by his mother, and that's sort of the androgynous look that apparently Longlegs has, that some people apparently are picking up from the trailer and some of the people that saw it already. And so that was one of the things that I was talking about in the trailer breakdown, because we were finally able to see that Longlegs, as well as making these dolls of sorts. And there was a moment, as well as some of the teasers, where we saw like a black cloaked figure with red eyes. I believe that is the dolls right there. And so we talked about it already, about the supernatural element, spiritual of sorts, when they talked about this book that Longlegs had left behind, and it was apparently called The Golden Bough. And that book talked about religion, occultism, magic, and stuff like that throughout the times. And apparently on the pages where Longlegs left it, it talked about sort of this voodoo king of sorts that would sort of poison whoever came across their clothing and things like that. And so I think that instead of Longlegs making sure that these murders are done by him, he wants to have the murders done by somebody else in the family in order to sort of divert the attention away and be able to get in there. But on top of all of that, I think that what they really want is a lot of sin to happen and him to come in and sort of reap all of that in his ritual magic that he's trying to do. Because I think that, of course, as we've said before in previous things, that Longlegs is a very satanic, ritualistic, and occult type person. And so for them, I think them doing all of this blasphemous things where the father of a family goes out and kills the young child, kills the wife, and then themselves, you see that there is a lot of sin happening here. And maybe he thinks he's feeding off of this energy into the ritual that he's trying to do, which of course is with these dolls. Now, one of the questions that we've always had, is this supernatural or not, or is there something else going on here? So we'll get to that in a bit as well. But I think that Longlegs is really using these dolls not just as maybe vessels, but also as a Trojan horse of sorts in order to start infiltrating the family in a way. There's been some talk and some rumors that Longlegs is sort of like a magician, an entertainer of sorts that could sing, things like that. And that's one of the first ways that these families come in contact with him. Maybe he's trying to be an entertainer for these parties or some sort. And one of these things that he brings with him is a doll, and maybe he leaves it behind. That could be a thing that we could possibly be seeing happening. And that's the way that he gets close to these families to begin with. Now let's get into some of the messages and coding that we've seen throughout. And this is coming from somebody on r/horror. And apparently they are saying that they were able to decipher things here and there from the trailers and teasers. So one of the first ones is in the remember to say your prayers. There are symbols that spell out Hail Satan. And that's one of the first teasers we've seen before. And I was very interested in that first one when it first came out because these just kept flashing really fast. And so that really just goes back to what I said, that Longlegs is this sort of Satanist occult type person, has really gotten into the symbolism of things. Apparently in the teaser we've been waiting for her, there are flashing symbols throughout the teaser that spell out "stood upon the sand of the sea." And then at the end it says July. Now, of course, July is the date of the film coming out, that we are now in July. I looked up the phrase "stood upon the sand of the sea," and it comes from Revelations when the beast comes. And I believe this is Longlegs saying that this is almost here. Whatever he's been trying to accomplish and all of that, whether it's trying to bring forth the devil, a demon, or something, they are saying it is here, it is coming. With Revelations, of course, being a passage in the Bible that really talks about the end of times. So there's another teaser as well, which says "you've got the teeth of the Hydra upon you." Now, I looked up that before, and I was able to also look through r/horror, and people said that this was a lyric from T-Rex, which is a band that, of course, I talked about at the beginning, might be something that Longlegs is listening to as well. So they've deciphered also the fourth teaser, which is the "you've got the teeth of Hydra upon you," which are also some T-Rex lyrics from another song that apparently people say might play a big role in this film. And like I told you, there is some talk about there being some T-Rex songs in this as well. Now, when they deciphered this, they said it went on to say that the symbols in the letter that are on the detective board that we see Micah that she's looking on, this is one of the most prominent images of all of Longlegs. It says, "I'm locked in a little wardrobe with a picture of shepherds posted onto the central," and I don't know, sometimes it's gibberish. Some people are saying that maybe it's not all the way there because, of course, Longlegs might not be all the way up in the head. It says, "Between carvings, the box stands on curved legs." And apparently that's what it says right there. But yeah, this is all coming on here as well. I'm going off of the Reddit here, which is r/horror, the deciphering Longlegs cipher. They also go on to talk about the other messagings in the trailer for Sweet Part 2, and they talk about the Dirty Part 2 trailer as well. All of them will be provided below if you want to check them out. They say that the letter reads, "Tell them where you got this, how it came into, I'll cut off her hanging milk tits and bleed your mommy dead." I mean, Longlegs is not going to be a person that's going to be very eloquent, I feel, for sure, and this is just insanity, right? Apparently there's also some other things that says "hell awaits," and they also say that in the official trailer there is a note, when decrypted it translates to "down low, you're too slow," which is the one that we see Micah when she's apparently deciphering it for herself as well. And then there is a billboard that's out there that translates to "the beast should speak," and then there is an Instagram post as well that says "protect us from the devil." And so I also talked about this in my first website update video when the website first got announced, and then there was that Seattle Times ad that was taken out from the Longlegs team. It was all encrypted, as you can see right here, and they decrypted it, and it says, "Little angel, little star, there she is, the birthday girl, downstairs at your door, hark the herald angel. It only gets worse from here. Remember to forget the dirty red work of destruction. I would not hurt a fly. Dirty and sweet, my girl, backwards scratch my eye. Such a black revelation, killing for sweet relief, crowns and horns his kingdom, off with every head, up from every hole, everyone is dead. I am the traveling monster, everybody bleeds the same colors. Behold, 6 is the number. Behold, pink is the..." So we do get this, if we decipher here, of course, birthday girl. A big thing about all of these murders is it seems to be happening around the girls' birthdays. And Harker is also apparently going to have a encounter with Longlegs on their 9th birthday. Of course, hark the herald angel. Harker, I believe that in some way Longlegs sees Harker as this sort of beacon that is sort of like what he's been working towards, and that's why he feels an attachment to Harker. And of course we see this whole thing right here where he says that he is the traveling monsters. He goes from house to house. 6 is the number, of course, with the satanic imagery. Behold, pink is the letter, and we see that pink letter that's been left all around. And so there's all of this here on r/horror. I love how people have been able to sort of embrace this whole marketing. I don't think we've seen marketing like this and people engaging it since Cloverfield or Blair Witch. So it's pretty awesome. Like I said, all of this from Reddit, a lot of things are the majority of where these things are coming from. Now, this is something that I was thinking about in my notes when I was writing them. I was thinking about how many murders Longlegs had committed prior to taking that break. And there were a total of 9 girls that were murdered throughout this whole thing. Some families had more than one little girl. And what I was getting to is that all of these murders seem to be ritualistic. Like I said, there's something that Longlegs is trying to achieve, especially with the books The Golden Bough and also with the 9 Circles of Hell. There's something that Longlegs is sort of pushing towards. And so I went back and I looked at some of these murders that happened, taking into account the 9 Circles of Hell, right? And so when I went through all of these 9 Circles of Hell, it feels maybe they were targeted for maybe these specific sins. And I was wondering if Longlegs, for some reason, has been stalking this family and knows if they committed any of these things right here, right? It's sort of like something that Longlegs is trying to achieve to open some type of portal in his mind, or is he really longing to have a little girl himself, and that's the reason he's doing all of this, and he believes he's found it in Harker, because maybe Harker came across his life after all of these events happened. That doesn't answer the question of why let Kiernan Shipka's character of their last name being Camera survive, because we still don't have that murderer here on the website. That's another murder that's going to be occurring, because the mother that is like slicing her stomach in the trailer is actually Kiernan Shipka's mother in the film, who goes by the surname Camera as well. So I'm very curious if that's going to be something we're going to see in the next update, which will be on Monday. So how exactly is Longlegs doing all of these murders? Is there something supernatural going on here? That's the biggest question I think we're going to have throughout film before we see it. And I think that you could definitely say there could be something supernatural. Longlegs could in fact be bringing up these demons to possess these dolls in order to go ahead and infiltrate the family and get the father to commit these horrible, unthinkable acts. Or if you don't want to go into that supernatural route, what I think could be interesting to hear to note is that, of course, Longlegs is listening to this glam rock soundtrack and things like that. They're talking about drugs and things, and I think Longlegs could in fact be lacing these dolls with something that when they come in contact with the father figure, whoever it may be, that sort of starts to induce these hallucinogens. And it goes in part with the 911 call that was one of the first teasers that we got from Longlegs, where the father is talking about, "It's not my daughter," and to be acting out in this violent rage. And in fact, that's what they're doing here. Maybe they realize what they've done after and then they commit this crime, or it could be set up by Longlegs coming in to sort of finish off the job, if you will. And I'm very curious because a lot of the cases do say that there wasn't anything that showed that anybody here had come in. But that's for a whole other video. We're going to be discussing even more of it as we try to decipher now the letters and the happy birthday cards and stuff that are left from Longlegs. So stay tuned for that. But I think a lot of what Longlegs is starting to say is borderline like religious things and really sounds like he has a plan, but then he goes off the wall and gets a little bit more violent and is saying things that don't make any sense and ramblings, which would make sense for somebody like Longlegs to be like that as well. They could just be someone who is desperate at this point. But I don't want to make this video any longer than it should be. We are waiting for more updates on the website. We will be talking about them when they release on Monday. What are your theories? What are your thoughts on how this Longlegs killer operates? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious to know your thoughts and opinions on it. But we will be updating this weekend with another video, so stay tuned. But that's so far what we've been able to uncover, some of our thoughts, some of our theories. Just wanted to give you all a little bit more insight as to where we are with everything, all the clues, everything on Reddit, everything from the Instagram, the YouTube channel, all of that. Stay tuned for more, but make sure you're following us for all things Longlegs. We got a couple more videos planned before the movie releases. We're still going to decipher these other letters because, like I said, the cipher seems to have changed after their break and they're writing in a different cipher now. And we're also going to be talking about our final theories for the film before we watch it next week. So I think we got about 3 more Longlegs videos before we watch the movie, the deciphering of the letters, and also the website update that's going to be coming on Monday, and our final theories for the film, just like we did for Maxine. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 35,000 subscribers, less than 4,000 to go for that. We're about to hit 31,000 tonight. I can feel it. So very excited for that. Share this video with Neon. Let them know what we've been doing, talking about the movie for all of these months now. Would really appreciate if y'all get these videos on the radar. But anyways, as always, subscribe, notification bell on, follow us on our social medias. We have a website, www.culturelixir.com. And yeah, let me know your theories and if you've come up with anything else that you've seen from the teasers or trailers I may not have brushed up on here. Like I said, I don't want to make these videos too long, but as always, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.